when you hear the story about, the officer feeling threatened in the vehicle, it's hard to kind of comprehend and make a decision about how you feel about the words that he's using when he says, "I felt threatened." But all of a sudden, when I'm immersed into the experience and I'm sitting sort of in the driver's seat with the officer and I see sort of what's happening, I start to understand the words of the story a little bit better. And then as you have the eyewitnesses, as you have all the testimony, it was really interesting to hear that some of the testimonies coming from maybe just a few feet away from the scene, but then also I discovered that there was testimony that was a part of the storyline, part of the case, from people who were maybe 100 or 150, 200 yards away. And then of course all the stories seemed to be in conflict to some degree.
Well, just moving through the virtual space was kind of interesting to just have the freedom to move where I wanted to, and the fact that I could just look in any direction and see what the surroundings looked like was fascinating to me as well. So it was really cool. If the facts are correct and the witness testimony is correct, it makes it look a little more suspicious than what the officer might have said. Hearing some of the recorded testimony of some of the witnesses was interesting, and I thought the being able to see where, for example, where the flip-flops were in relation to the cop car was interesting, and paints a whole different image for me of what might have happened, since he probably was wearing them when he was running away and they came off. So he was some distance from the car, and so my understanding of the case was that it all happened right near the car, so that changed. In terms of where they were, what happened, and if, obviously the cop and where the first shell casing we saw, the distance it was from the police car, obviously there was some pursuit going on, it sounds like.
Living through that whole situation, I'm from that area. I think what I saw was pretty accurate as far as what was reported in the media, what witnesses were saying. I don't know how much of it's true. I don't know how much we'll ever know is true on either side. But yeah, I thought it was pretty accurate to what was reported.
It gives me more sympathy for everybody involved, because again, I see that there are real people in a real neighborhood, and so while my mind hasn't been made up and that hasn't changed before this, what my mind has been made up about is that this is a real problem with real people, and I just feel way more sensitive about this and other struggles that happen between law enforcement and community. So
it makes me feel like there are more questions than answers right now, from my standpoint. I don't know too much about in depth in the incident itself, but it sounds like there's a lot of questions that are still out there that confused me. Gosh, the whole potential is just amazing. It's great technology, especially if you were a juror for a case. I don't know what I could add to it, but yeah, just if I were a juror in a case, having this kind of evidence would really open my eyes to what the case was about.
I think what was reported and what was actually going on were very different. I thought the audio was really cool. Having clips of people talking about what they saw that day or what they thought happened was interesting. You had really detailed of that area. That's exactly what the area looks like. So yeah.
I no longer am getting from news outlets facts, because the facts have already been presented as they've unfolded. Twitter, if I want news, I'll look at Twitter. So nowadays what it seems like with news outlets is that we're not really getting the story, we're getting the analysis and the commentary. And so I think what this does is it allows me to see more of the story, and that's what this succeeds at really well.